Willie here for another ramblings and pickups of Willie. October is going to be a really busy month for me. Got quite a few events I'm attending. The first of which is on October 11th in Canton, North Carolina, which is the Retro Rumble video game tournament. I'll have a link to all these events in the show notes down below if you're interested in them. But I'll be attending that. Then over on October 25th, I'm participating in a 24-hour gaming marathon for Extra Life, the charity, as part of the Retro Junkies Network. My show, Arcade USA, and the ColecoVisions podcast have their own web page for that. So if you'd like to sponsor my game playing and donate to a great cause, I'll put a link down below so you can be aware when that's going to go on. I plan on playing some arcade games and probably some ColecoVision games. I may bust out the Bally Astrocade and the Fairchild Channel F while I'm doing my segment of the marathon. The way we're working is all the Retro Junkies are taking over a certain queue, a certain block of time to broadcast for the event. I know the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast is going to be doing it, and a few other podcasts on the Retro Junkie Network will be participating in that. Something to look forward to. And then next month, on November 8th, I'll be at the Flippers Arcade in the Outer Banks. It's in Grandy, North Carolina, and they're doing the fall pinball tournament out there. I'll be out there, to film that, and so I can do an episode to cover that. That's actually the place I did the very first episode of Arcade USA about, I think it was a year ago, maybe it was 2 years ago. Don't recall. But it was the very first arcade I actually covered for this show. So it's kind of neat to go back there to cover a tournament. And hopefully be able to talk to the owner this time. I didn't get to last time. He wasn't there. So I have a link to that pinball tournament down below. It should be really fun. If you're in the Outer Banks area, come on out to the pinball tournament, say hi, and play some pinball and have some fun. But other than that, let's go through some of the pickups. First thing I picked up this week was Sonic R. Whoa, glare. Whoop, there we go. Sonic R for my Sega Saturn. It's not too bad. I have a little Sonic racing game. It's pretty much near impossible to control with the D-pad controller. And it's marginally better to control with the 3D controller, which is compatible with the 3D control pad. My biggest problem is the steering seems to be really sluggish. You go to steer Sonic and it takes like a second before he starts going that way, and then you try to steer back the other way and he kind of overshoots. I'm having a hard time being coordinated with this game. As you can see in the video up here, I'm all over the crazy track. But, it's kind of cool. Don't know if I'm going to keep it in my collection or not. Because I doubt I'm going to play it again. So, that one may be going to the donate pile or trade pile more likely. Maybe I'll trade for something else. Next one I picked up for my Sega Saturn was High Octane Racing. Really neat game. You pretty much race hovercrafts. Different types of vehicles you can select. I kind of like using the little car. It looks like the Back to the Future car. Is the one I like to mess around with. This is basically a racing game. It gives you weapons so you can shoot the other racers that get in front of you and stuff. Nothing new there. Another neat feature of this game is the tracks will actually morph. They'll change as you play the game, which is a neat effect. I remember playing this game on my PC when this first came out. It was put out by Bullfrog. So I didn't realize they had it for the Sega Saturn, so I was pretty excited to get it. The only downside to it is it plays just a little bit slow. As you can see in the video, it's a little bit sluggy. But it's still a fun game. I'll keep that one. Picked up another racing game. This is a exclusive to the Sega Saturn, and it's the Manx TT Superbike. Awesome game. I really enjoy this. Don't play it with the D-pad. Use a 3D controller to play this game. What I do is I hold the analog stick all the way forward and rotate my thumb right and left just a little bit to steer my bike. I find it a little bit easier to control that way instead of in the middle doing the big movements like that. I still am all over the track because I'm not used to playing the game yet. I enjoy this game a lot. It's a lot of fun. It gives you a good sense of speed. Don't care for the first person's perspective too much because the whole screen will tilt like you're on the motorcycle. And that's a little disorienting, I find. But other than that, it's got a nice selection of tracks. You can do automatic or manual transmissions on your bike. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Now let's move on to the 32X. I only picked up one thing for the 32X, and this was mainly just because it was cheap. It was less than $1. I figure, what the heck, I'll pick it up. It was the golf game. What's this called? Golf Magazine, 36 Great Holes. It was $1. I just picked up the other 32X cartridges I have. I probably won't play it very much. I do like golf games in general, but this one's kind of, it's not too bad. Now let's move on to my Nintendo NES. Picked up a couple games for it. First one was Renegade by Taito. Beat 'em up game. It's kind of neat. It's not too bad. Basically, just beat the heck out of these guys. I like the different moves you make. The control scheme's a little different. Basically, you hit the B button to attack enemies coming from this way, and the A button when they come from this side of your character. So in the combination of hitting the correct button and moving the D-pad, you can do different kicks, like a rotating back kick, or a crotch kick, or a punch, or a roundhouse, or flip the guy over you. Once you get used to the controls, it's a pretty fun little beat-em-up game. Am I going to keep it in the collection? No. It's okay, but it's nothing wow. So I probably won't keep it. Now the next one I picked up from my Nintendo, it's a puzzle game. It's called Palamedes. Palamedes. Now I like puzzle type games, and I like games similar to Bubble Bobble and stuff like that. This is kind of like Bubble Bobble a little bit, but basically you have dice that come down the screen, and what you're trying to do is make a hand down at the bottom of the screen. For example, if you have like 3 of a kind, like you got three dice, and then you hit the down on your D-pad, it's going to eliminate one line from those advancing dice coming down. And you go all the way up to eliminate up to 5 lines at a time. In order to eliminate 5 lines at once, you got to line the die up as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that'll eliminate 5 lines from the play field. So it's a pretty challenging game. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. This one I'm definitely keeping in my collection, mainly because I like games of this type. So that's a good one. I wasn't sure about when I saw it on the rack, but it was only 99 cents from the Trade It store. So I picked it up, and I'm very happy with it. Now we're moving on to the Odyssey 2. I picked up quite a few games from Odyssey 2 this week to build up that collection. The first one I picked up was Invaders from Hyperspace. Basically, it's a 2-player space combat game. Now, you only see one player playing up here because, my wife wasn't available to play the other player as I made the video for it. So, I just want to show what the gameplay looked like, the game screen, everything looked like. You have orbiting, they look like planets that orbit around, and they can destroy your ship if they hit. You can only shoot sideways, this way and that way. You can't shoot up or down. And you have UFOs that appear every once in a while that buzz around and shoot at you as well. So it's a fairly fun space battle game. I'm looking forward to trying this with the wife when she gets a chance. Then the next one I picked up was Conquest of the World. It's like a bunch of little mini games in here. You have like aircraft that fight each other. And you have aircraft versus submarine. You have submarine versus submarine. That kind of stuff. Now what I really like is when the submarines, they dive and you stop, you'll see a little periscope pop up like this and look around. And go back down when you start to move again. That's pretty cool. And it's not too bad of a game. It's another 2-player game. So you have 2 players to play this as well. And then the next one was War of Nerves. Very interesting game. Basically, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your army guys, all the way down to the opposite corner to attack the other guy, and you got to avoid his army as well. And they shoot at each other, and once they get shot, they stop and they no longer move. So basically, what you do is you run around trying to get your army guys to follow you by pushing the action button. They'll sit there and you'll blow a whistle or something like that, and they'll start to come towards you. And you try to get him over to the other guy to capture him. And one of the things I really like about this game is when you do catch the other guy, they do a little dance. First you'll see them salute, and then you'll see one guy jumping up and down, yay! And the other guy's doing this with his head, and his legs are going doot, 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 doot. Funny. Cracks me up every time I see it. Not too bad of a game. Another two-player game, though. Next one I picked up was Las Vegas Blackjack in the box. That's cool. I usually don't go for box games, but oh well. It's kind of neat to get the boxes every once in a while. It's not too bad of a blackjack game. You basically use the keyboard only, joystick's not used. You enter a bet, 0 to 1,000. It draws you cards, and all options you have is hit or stand, which is Y for yes or N for no. So I never did see it do like a double down or some of the other things that the blackjack game, your regular blackjack game does. So it's fairly limited. It appears to be. I gotta give a little more play time on it though, and see if there's any more to it. Next one I picked up for the Odyssey 2 is a combination cartridge. It has 2 games on it, and it is bowling and basketball. Bowling game is actually a lot of fun. It's not too bad at all. Basketball game, it's okay. It's a 2-player game though, which is a bummer. I get 2 people to play this crazy thing, so give it a good tryout. But the bowling game I really like on here. It's not too bad. Scores really well. The controls are pretty easy. You basically, when your ball is bouncing back and forth to the bottom of the screen, you push forward on the joystick to throw it down the lane. And as it's moving down the lane, you can push the joystick right or left to arc the ball. Try to get a strike or whatever like that. So it's not too bad of a game. It's fairly fun. And then for my Sega Master System, I picked up some games for it. The first one was RC Grand Prix. RC racing game for the Game Gear. I can't play this game worth a darn. I'm all over the track. It's hard to control. For me, it is. Like games, just can't play them. Not too bad. The next one I picked up was Poker Face Paul's Solitaire. Yeah, not keeping it. It's a solitaire game, but it's not the solitaire that I'm used to. It's a little bit different. I'm not keeping that one. That's going in the trade pile. And then the next one I picked up, another card game, Poker Face Paul's Blackjack. I love blackjack games. This one's not too bad, actually. It's quite a bit of fun. Has some good resolution of the cards, and the gameplay is really good. I'm really enjoying this blackjack game. So this one I'm going to keep in the collection. And then the last one I picked up for my Game Gear is Side Pocket, a pool game for the Game Gear. Really well done. The physics are really nice. Pretty straightforward controls. Basically, you just aim the cue ball, and then you hit the power, your action button, and you'll see the power meter go up. You hit it again to apply how much power you want to the ball, and off it goes. Not a bad pool game for the Game Gear. Quite a bit of fun. And then the last thing I got a hold of, I didn't pick this up. This was sent to me by my co-host, Gamester81, who does the ColecoVision's podcast with me. He sent me a perfectly good working 2600 expansion module for my ColecoVision. Awesome. I've been looking for one of these for quite a while to add to my ColecoVision collection. He found one that was in the box, and he told me, well, hey, I've got this one here. I'll just send it to you. Awesome. I love my co-hosts. They're awesome. Anyway, that is all the pickups for this week. Oh, one last thing. The YouTube channel finally surpassed 1,000 subscribers. So I'm going to be doing a 1,000 subscriber video here really soon, probably either today or this weekend at the latest, on a giveaway. I'm trying to decide exactly what I'm going to do as the prize for the 1,000 subscribers, but it's going to be pretty cool. Whatever I decide, I got a few ideas what I think I'm going to do, but I think you'll like what I'm going to have for the 1,000 subscriber contest. And I'll have details in that video on how you participate in the contest and everything like that. So keep an eye out for that. It should be coming out real soon. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for watching.